It's time.
She's spilling the tea.
This is the Rumor Report with Angela Yee on The Breakfast Club.
Well, as we're getting ready for the Wakanda Forever, let's talk about Rihanna on the soundtrack. Now, Ryan Coogler sat down with Gil King on CBS and talked about reaching out to her personally to get her on there. Here's what he said.
Let's talk about Rihanna. We can't even say why Rihanna because it's Rihanna. But beyond that, what was your pitch to her? Because you reached out to her, I'm told, personally.
Yeah, I think she has a lot of great people around. You know, Jay Brown, especially one of the partners at Rock Nation.
Yeah.
And it was really, you know, talking to the folks around her because she was in a position where her life was changing. She was becoming a mom. And she kind of had a phalanx of folks, you know, that she trusted, who we were in constant communication with, and then they would go communicate with her. And I think the trailer is what spoke to her the most. She kind of saw the performances that the actors were putting down and what the tone was, heard that beautiful music by Tim's mixed with Kendrick. And then she, you know, and it timed up with her, you know, coming into the space where she was ready to engage with the world musically again.
All right, well, dope. I mean, that was a huge moment, and that makes sense. Other people that are featured on the soundtrack include Burna Boy, Thames is on there, Snow the Product, featuring E40, Stormzy, Fireboy DML, amongst others. So
I ain't heard from Snow in a minute. I'd love to hear some new Snow as well. Dropping the clues bombs for Snow the Product. Man, that soundtrack got everybody making music again who ain't made music in a while, right?
All right, now T-Pain sat down with Trevor Noah, and he talked about a lot of different things like his depression.
You went into a depression and you spoke about how you had to work on your mental to come out of this.
Absolutely. I love being vocal about things like that because it wasn't set in the blueprints before me. Nobody tells you about the down.
Right.
Everybody always tells you about the up, and I always look back at the the people that came before me, and I'm like, why didn't y'all tell me about this? Like, you know, according to them, it was all it's money, girls, big house. Somehow your wife don't find out about any of that. You know, the fantasy world. But, you know, nobody told us about the down. So I try to stay vocal about that to let people know these things are going to happen. There's no magical world in the multiverse that everybody is happy all the time.
Yeah, that's right. And that's how you eradicate the stigma of, you know, mental health issues, by simply talking about them. So share your stories, people.
He also says that he has no regrets when it comes to his career.
What would you do differently and why?
Condoms. That would probably be. I'll probably invest in them bitches. No, man, I don't think I would change anything. I think the most important thing that came out of how I've done everything is the lessons I've acquired while doing them.
Right.
You know, and knowing each end of the spectrum is always better than going in it blindly and going off of faith. You know, as I said, having that information, if I would have came into the game and I would have stayed successful for this long, the downfall would have just been from a higher height.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of embraced the fact that I was able to go jump in the kiddie pool real quick and then move to the high. You know, I just wanted to have that experience in my life, and I don't regret any part of it.
All right. Now, listen to this. There's a Netflix documentary that's supposed to be coming out on Saturday. It's called Orgasm Inc. And they're getting sued over this documentary. It's a group of 15 former participants of One Taste. Now, if you don't know what One Taste is, they've been accused of being an orgasm cult. They've even been investigated by the FBI. They operated from 2005 to 2018. They billed themselves as a sexual wellness company focusing on orgasmic meditation. Now, what happened is the group is saying the film Orgasm Inc. uses sexually explicit stolen footage, and they want a temporary restraining order for that. They said the footage in the documentary was stolen and distributed by a former videographer for the company, and the footage depicts intimate body parts and acts of sexual intercourse, as well as nudity and intimate touching as part of instructions of the concepts and methods that they were taught with One Taste. So they also claim that before being filmed for classes, workshops, or events, the group had documents acknowledging the events would be confidential. They also had verbal agreement and a show of hands from all participants agreeing that the event was conducted in a safe space where intimate ideas and deep personal feelings could be discussed privately and confidentially without any fear or worry that they would be publicly revealed. They also said the videographer signed a confidential and proprietary information agreement, but he's defended himself by arguing that some of the plaintiffs in the case are public figures. So it's supposed to be out on Saturday, but now They're suing to try to get this temporary restraining order. They said that they have no idea what footage is actually featured in the film because Netflix will not let them know.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's going to be out on Saturday or not. But again, you know, we always talk about these documentaries and public information and public figures. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. And that is your rumor report.
All right. Thank you, Miss Yee. Shout out to Van Lathan. Hip Hop Homicides comes on tonight on WeTV. All right. That happens at, I believe, 9 o'clock Eastern time. So definitely check it out. Of course, it's a show executive produced by 50 Cent and Mona Scott. And they each and every week they go through, you know, homicides in hip hop. So this week they're gonna break down Pop Smoke, and they're gonna talk to detectives. They're gonna talk to Pop Smoke's best friend, his mother, the young lady who he was with that night. They're gonna tell you how the incident happened, why. So it's a very great show.
No, it's a great show. I mean, if you know anything about the podcast world, like true crime is like the #1 thing in the podcast space right now. I don't even think it's just the podcast space, just true crime, period. And this is true crime for hip hop.
Yeah, yep. So,
but sadly, these are criminal cases.
Yeah, it is. And they break down this week is Pop Smoke, and it's very sad when you hear the story and how everything that happened. So definitely tune in tonight on WeTV. And then me and Van, after the show, we talk on WeTV about the episode. And then after, we actually do it together where we take live calls and we go right to live to talk to people, to speak to people about everything they've seen and you know, everything. So tune in tonight.
Good, man. You get to live out your cop dreams. Between that and what's that show you on CBS? You really getting to live out your cop dreams,
East New York, yeah, on CBS. And it's funny that, you know, because I think Vans I think his dad was a retired police officer, and so was mine. So when they needed somebody to break down and talk about it, they called me. I thought so. Am I wrong? I could be wrong.
Nah, Van Dad.
Oh, you know what? I'm talking about Killer Mike. That's Killer Mike's family that was
yeah. I'm like, what?
But that's why they called me, because it's like, your dad's a retired cop. You have a different angle. But it's pretty cool. We break down a lot of it, and can't wait for you guys to check it out on WeTV, 9 o'clock. Shout out to Mona Scott. Shout out to Fifth.
That's right. And make sure you tune into my late night talk show, too, Hell of a Week, tonight at 11:30 on Comedy Central. Right after the Daily Show, we got some great guests tonight. We got Joe Coscarelli from the New York Times. He'll be on the panel. Tiffany Cross from MSNBC will be on the panel. And some guy named Donnell Rollins. Y'all might have heard of him. He's supposed to be a comedian or something?
Yeah, he's coming on the show tomorrow. So, yeah, you know Donnell.
He'll be on there tonight, too. So 11:30 p.m. on Comedy Central, right after the Daily Show, my late night talk show. Hell of a Week. Tune in.